So super inspired to just make a little class. I've kind of been doing all kinds of moving, like running, yoga. As for a proper class, let's just take a moment. We can sit on our mats. You can just sit in a comfortable seated position. Gently close your eyes and begin to find your breath. You can put your hands on your knees or just let them rest in between your legs. So to get settled, we're just going to inhale our chest up slightly. And then exhale, rolling our shoulders back. Inhale, just bringing oxygen into your entire body. And then exhale, just relaxing. Making sure you're just getting into a comfortable position. If you need to move a little bit, that's fine. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. Releasing the tension or any tension from our forehead, our jaw, releasing our tongue from the roof of the mouth. Just taking a few breaths. We can set an intention for our practice. Along with taking a moment of gratitude for just taking the time to move our body, stretch our body, just let all our muscles free. When you're ready, you can gently begin to open your eyes. And we're just going to start with inhaling our arms up. And then exhale, just finding stillness. We're just going to start warming up our body. Doesn't matter if you've moved all day or if you haven't, just inhale, arms up. And then exhaling to the right side, bringing your right arm down, left arm overhead. We're not picking our booty off the ground, just inhaling into our stretch. And then exhale, just falling over, whatever's comfortable. And when we're ready, we're going to inhale both arms up again. And then to the other side, just exhale, left arm down, right arm overhead, feeling a nice little stretch. Inhale, making sure your chest is still up. And then exhale, just falling over, feeling a nice stretch. Inhaling, both arms up. Sucking our belly button in, we're going to exhale, folding forward. Feeling a nice little stretch in our legs. You can tiptoe your fingers up if you'd like. And on the next inhale, we're going to bring both arms up. Switching our crisscross, making sure all sides are stretched out. We're going to exhale, sucking our belly button in, folding forward, hands to the mat. Using your own breath. Breathing into your stretch, you can tiptoe your fingers up a little bit. And then exhale, just relaxing and releasing. On the next inhale, we're going to bring both arms up. Exhaling, arms out and down, stretching out as far as you can. Bring your hands down to the mat. Awesome. And then we're just going to come into our tabletop position. So as always, wrists beneath our shoulders. Knees below our hips. Our toes are pointing towards the back of the mat. And to warm up our spine, we're going to drop our belly towards the mat, inhaling our head up. And then exhale, pushing away from the mat, crown of the head towards the mat, arching your spine. So using your own breath, you're going to inhale, arching your spine, inhaling, head up. And then exhale, sucking your belly button in, crown of the head to the mat, One more, dropping your belly button to the mat, inhaling, head up. And then exhaling back into tabletop position. So tucking our toes, we're going to come into our first down dog. So leaving our knees bent. We're just going to lift our sit bone as high as we can, keeping our knees bent. And when you're ready, you can start walking your dog out, making sure you're breathing with every movement. So one knee forward, the other heel back. Just using your own breath to feel that nice stretch in the back of your legs, making sure all fingertips are pointing towards the front of the mat. Your arms are engaged. You're sucking your belly button in, sit bone to the sky. And when you're ready, you can find stillness, bringing both knees back into our down dog. Gaze can go towards your toes. And we're just going to hold this for a few breaths, just warming up the entire body. Your whole body should be engaged. You're pushing away from the mat. Your sit bone's going to the sky and your heels are just inching towards the earth. Awesome. So micro bending our knees, bringing our gaze towards our fingertips. We're going to gently walk our feet towards our hands. Keeping that micro bend in our knees, we're going to come into our first forward fold. You can grab your elbows if you'd like, or keep your hands on the mat. And just fold forward, making sure you're folding from the hips and not from your back. So you can bend your knees a little bit. There should be a nice stretch in the back of your legs. Inhaling into the stretch. And then exhaling, just letting your crown of the head fall towards the mat. Awesome. Slightly bending our knees. We're going to lift our chest up, all the way up. And then gaze goes forward, inhaling both arms up overhead. And then exhale, releasing our arms back down. So coming into a sun salutation. Really good way to warm up the entire body. We're going to keep our gaze forward, inhale our arms up, and then sucking our belly button in and leading with our chest forward fold, coming all the way down, hands to the mat. Halfway lift, we're going to inhale just our head up, lengthening our spine, and then exhaling while walking our feet towards the back of the mat into our plank position. Awesome. Taking a deep inhale. And then exhaling, coming down to about an inch off the mat, tucking our toes, and then inhaling all the way into our up dog. So we want our knees off the mat. You're looking up towards the sky, making sure you're pressing away from the mat. And then untucking our toes, we're going to lift our sit bone all the way back up into that down dog position. So this time we want to find stillness in our down dog, just using our breath. Making sure you're inhaling into your stretch. And then exhaling, just finding stillness. Deep inhale. And then exhale, micro bending our knees, and we can walk or jump our feet towards our hands. Back into that forward fold. On the next inhale, we're going to halfway lift again. So just looking up, lengthening our spine. Exhaling, forward fold. And then gently coming up one vertebrae at a time. Inhaling, arms all the way up. Exhale, releasing arms back down. Awesome. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Again, sucking our belly button in and hinging from the hips. We're going to come down into that forward fold. Halfway lift, we're going to inhale, lengthening our spine. And then exhale, walking or jumping our feet towards the back of the mat. Again, coming down to that Chaturanga, elbows going back, chest going straight down, tucking our toes. Inhale, looking up, pressing up. And then exhale, untucking your toes, lifting your sit bone into downward facing dog. Awesome, just holding in our downward facing dog. On the next inhale, we're going to gently lift our right arm off of the mat and then bring it to our left ankle. You're going to take a deep inhale and then exhale, just bringing your chest through into a slight twist in our down dog. Making sure you're keeping that left arm pushing away from the mat. You're engaging your core. Exhaling, hand back to the mat. Taking a deep inhale, lifting our left arm off the mat and then bringing it to our right ankle. So we're going to inhale and then exhale, chest goes towards the mat and kind of bringing our head through our arm. Just feeling a little stretch, a little twist. On the next inhale, you're going to release, bring your hand back to the mat, and then bring your knees towards the mat into a few cat-cows. So untucking your toes. Again, with an inhale, you're going to drop your belly towards the mat. Inhale, head up. Exhaling, crown of the head towards the mat, pushing away from the mat, feeling a nice stretch. Inhaling, dropping your belly button to the mat. Inhale, head up. Exhaling, coming back into that neutral position. So we're going to open our knees gently, coming back down into our child's pose. Just if we're sore, if we want to just stretch out our legs. And then exhaling our forehead to the mat, bringing our chest as close as we can to the mat. Just finding your own breath, feeling that stretch. We're being gentle at the beginning of our practice. You can tiptoe your fingers forward. And then exhale, just placing your head onto the mat, finding stillness in your stretch. Awesome. On the next inhale, you're going to bring your head up, walking your hands back towards your body. Your knees are going to come back in. Tucking our toes, we're going to press back up into that downward facing dog. And just hold in our down dog. In downward dog, your whole body's engaged. We're pressing our fingertips, our palms into the mat. We're driving our heels toward the mat slowly. Inhale, sucking your belly button in. And then exhale, just finding stillness. On the next inhale, you're going to lift your right heel off the mat, bring it up as high as you can. And then exhale your knee to your chest. Inhaling right heel towards the sky. Exhaling knee to chest, lifting it as high as you can towards your chest. One more, inhaling right heel to the sky. Exhaling knee to chest, holding it for a second. And then dropping your right foot in between your hands. We're going to come into that crescent lunge. So making sure your front knee is at a 90-degree angle. Back heel is towards the back of the mat. Your back leg is engaged. Your hands are on the outside of your foot. And then we're going to inhale, lifting our chest up, bringing our arms up into warrior one. So making sure we're inhaling our chest up. And then sinking down into our crescent pose, feeling that nice stretch. Inhaling, arms up. And then exhale, we're going to turn our back foot parallel with the back of the mat. Exhaling, arms out and our gaze over our front fingertips into warrior two. So just holding our warrior two for a second. Inhaling, chest up. And then exhale, sinking down, making sure you're driving that front knee outwards and your weight is centered in between your legs. Deep inhale. And then exhale, releasing that front leg, turning it slightly inward, making sure both legs are pigeon-toed. We're going to inhale our chest up, bringing our hands to our hips, and then sucking our belly button in, exhaling forward fold. So this is an open leg forward fold. You're bringing your chest down, keeping your spine as straight as possible. Just come down until you can feel the stretch. Inhaling into your stretch. And then exhale, just finding stillness. Making sure the entire soles of your feet are firmly planted into the ground. Just breathe into your stretch. Deep inhale, and then exhale. On the next inhale, we're gently going to come back up. Same way we came down. Awesome. Turning our front foot towards the front of the mat. Dropping down into that warrior two again. Bringing our arms out. Just holding for a second, driving that front knee out. And then exhale, both feet towards the front of the mat. Meeting both feet at the front of the mat. Inhaling, arms up overhead. And then exhaling into that forward fold. Awesome. Inhaling, halfway lift. Bringing your head up, lengthening your spine, and then exhale, walking our feet towards the back of the mat. Dropping down into Chaturanga, we're going to exhale, bring our elbows back, coming till we're about an inch off the mat, tucking our toes, and then without bringing our knees to the mat, we're going to inhale, looking up, pressing up, upward facing dog, and then untucking our toes and lifting our sit bone, coming back into downward facing dog. So holding that downward facing dog, gazes toward our toes, we're sucking our belly button in. And on the next inhale, we're going to inhale our left heel to the sky. Reaching up as high as we can, making sure our hips remain square. And then exhale, gaze forward, knee to chest. Pushing away from the mat. Inhaling, bringing our left heel towards the sky. And then exhaling, knee to chest. One more, inhaling, left heel to the sky. Exhaling, knee to chest. And then we're going to drop that left foot in between our hands. Making sure our front leg is 90 degrees. Our back leg is engaged and our heels pointing towards the back of the mat. Having a solid foundation, we're going to inhale both arms up into warrior one. So we're getting weight centered in between our legs, making sure our front knee is driving slightly outward. We never want to cave it in. Inhaling, chest up. And then exhale, sinking down into that warrior one. Inhaling, arms up. Stretching up, reaching up. And then exhaling, turning that back foot towards the back of the mat. Arms go out. Gaze goes forward over your front fingertips. So you're sinking down into that warrior two. Deep inhale. Exhale, releasing. Finding stillness. Deep inhale. And then exhaling, releasing that front leg. Turning the front toe inwards. Again, slightly pigeon-toed both legs. Hands come down, hands come towards our hips. We're going to inhale our chest up, and then exhale, sucking our belly button in, coming down as far as we can. If we're a little more warmed up, we're going to come down a little bit further. Deep inhale, exhale, coming down as far as we can. Bringing our hands towards the mat. We're just going to inhale, and then exhale, just bring our chest as far as we can towards the mat. Awesome. Making sure we're not leaning too far forward onto our toes or our heels. We want to be centered in our open leg forward fold. On the next inhale, we're going to come all the way back up. And then we're going to bring our hands behind our back and clasp our hands behind our back. So inhaling our chest up. And then exhaling, coming down again, leading with our chest. We're going to bring our arms up overhead, all the way as far as we can. This time we can bring our gaze to our legs, or just keep our gaze down in front of us, depending on how far you can go. The most important thing is that our spine remains like quite neutral. We're not trying to bend from our spine. We're always hinging from the hips. So feeling that nice stretch in our shoulders. We're going to come up gently, and then keeping our hands clasped behind us. We're going to inhale our head up, dropping our hands down towards the mat, micro back bend, bringing our gaze as far over our body as we can. Just inhale and exhale, finding stillness. Just feel your stretch. You're not overstretching your spine. And then gently coming all the way back up, gaze forward, hands onto our hips. We're going to turn our front toe towards the front of the mat, dropping down into that crescent again. Arms out, gaze goes forward. Inhaling, chest up, and then exhale, sinking down, driving that knee out slightly. When we're ready, we're going to turn our back foot towards the front of the mat, bringing both feet to the front of the mat. Inhaling, arms up. And this time, bring our gaze forward, slightly tucking our chin. And then we're going to exhale our elbows out. Gaze goes up into a slight back bend. Inhaling, arms up, gaze goes forward. And then exhale, opening our heart, elbows go out and down. Inhaling, arms up, gaze goes forward. Making sure our core is engaged, we're using the power from the ground to be really stable in our legs. And then exhaling our arms out, opening our heart. Inhaling, arms up, gaze goes forward. Sucking our belly button in, coming down, forward fold. One more sun salutation, halfway lift. We're going to inhale, head up. And then exhale, walking or jumping our feet towards the back of the mat. Coming down into Chaturanga. Elbows are coming down. Elbows are coming back. Our body's coming down. We're going to tuck our toes. Inhale, looking up, pressing up. Upward facing dog. And then untucking our toes, lifting our sit bone, coming to downward facing dog. Finding stillness in our downward facing dog. Just taking a few deep breaths as we calm our body towards the end of practice. We're going to micro bend our knees and walk our feet towards our hands, keeping our knees bent. We're going to drop our sit bone all the way to the mat, opening our knees into our butterfly. Awesome. So just letting our knees fall open. We can clasp our fingers and grab our toes. And then exhale, folding forward. This time your back can kind of fall forward, bend forward, feeling a nice stretch on the inner thighs and giving our back a gentle stretch. You can bring your elbows into your shins or your legs to kind of help that stretch out a little bit. Just calming down at the end of practice, gently coming back up, bringing our knees together, and then bringing our feet out in front of us, bringing our body down to the mat, and resting in our Savasana. So our hands can fall next to us, our palms up. We're gently closing our eyes. Our legs can fall open. We're just inhaling, bringing oxygen into our entire body. And then exhale, releasing and letting go onto our mat, onto the earth. Letting our heart rate return to normal. Letting our body just recalibrate after our practice. When you train your body to move and breathe, and when you breathe with your movement, you allow yourself to teach yourself to be conscious of your body. Inhaling into your entire body, just calming the system. And then exhale, just letting everything go onto your mat. Savasana is kind of like a meditation after our practice. They say that yoga charges meditation. You use up all your physical energy so that your system can kind of focus on your mental energy. And using your mind, you can therefore calm your system, and it's kind of like this cycle. Inhaling oxygen into your entire body. And then exhale, just releasing tension, releasing anything and everything else onto your mat. If you find yourself thinking about anything, just return to the sensation of your body after your practice, or to your breath, or to your heartbeat. Having a focal point during your savasana or your meditation allows you to go deeper and deeper as you focus on one thing. Relaxing every single fiber of your being after your practice. You're ready. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring your knees into your chest, slightly hugging them. And then keeping your eyes closed, you can come back up into that seated position that you started in. Taking a deep inhale. And then exhale, just settling into your seated position. Taking note of how you feel after your practice as compared to when you started. You can remind yourself of the intention that you set for your practice. You can set an intention for the rest of your day. I take this peace, this calm with me through the rest of the day. Taking one more moment of gratitude for allowing ourselves to move and breathe and stretch. Bringing our palms in front of our hearts. Deep gratitude. Namaste.